welcome back to Clair de Lune from scratch. Okay, now we're going to start another challenging portion of the piece. What I'd like to do is I'd like to start with a little bit of the previous measure to connect us into the next one to ensure a smooth transition. So let's go ahead and do this. We're back in the music. I'm going to copy just the tail end of measure 32. Okay? Copy that portion. Let's go into here. Let's paste that. Make it a little bit larger so we can see. Okay? And then we're going to take a look at the beginning of measure 33. And let's see how we do with time. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get to the whole measure, but at the very least, let's take a look at the beginning portion up to here. If we're lucky, maybe we can do the rest of it. Okay? All right, copy that. And enlarge that a bit. Okay, so hopefully we can have a smooth transition with this written out like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and review. Here we've moved to a fifth finger, and there's a new hand position we have to move to. Fifth finger on top, second finger on bottom. One. Left hand, if you recall, we're in an octave position to start, and then our hands are going to kind of pivot over the thumb. So 5, 2, 1. And then you're going to pivot over to a 2, 1 over here. Okay? So remember, this is what we had over here. Okay, that was the previous measure. Now we have to go on to the next portion. So let's quickly find this. We know this over here from the previous measure was an F. So if we know that's an F, take a look, that's the top line. This next note is going to be a G flat, okay? So likewise, let's take a look at this note over here. We knew that this was an F on the bottom, okay? So looking down, bottom space, this is going to be an E flat on the bottom over here, okay? So let me quickly map out our notes in the left hand. All right, starting with the F and the F clef, fall, down, ball, that's a B flat over here. Okay, I'm sorry, my handwriting's getting a little sloppy right now. Let's go ahead and see if I can clean it up a little bit, okay? So E flat, that's a B flat over here, okay? Fall here, fall, that's an E flat over here, okay? So far we have an octave, E flat, B flat, E flat, okay? For those first three notes. And sure enough, as you know, I love octaves. So I'm going to see if we can preserve that shape with a 5, 2, 1 fingering the left hand, okay? 5, 2, and 1 like that, okay? So what that's going to involve is we're going to have to move up to a new position to continue the run, okay? Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next few notes very quickly. E flat, G flat over here, okay? G flat, B flat, okay? Now we're going to be climbing a couple ledger lines over here. C, D, E flat over here on top. You see how I kind of followed them up the line, okay? Now what we're going to do here, there's a couple of options. You could jump up to a fifth finger to continue all the way through here, but I'm always a little wary of jumping to a weak finger like that. It's tricky. Okay, so what I actually prefer is to go to a fourth finger, which is, in my opinion, a little safer to jump to. 4, 2, 1. Okay? Because we just had our fifth finger measuring an octave over here. The fourth finger can help measure that smaller interval or space between the notes like that. Okay? So I don't have what I call finger confusion. Okay? So 4, 2, 1. And what we're going to do, we're going to just put our second finger over that to this note over here. Let's just quickly take a look at this. Notice we're now repositioning to a new clef, the G clef, and look at that. The note is right aligned with the G or the G flat over here. Okay, so we're going to be playing G flat. In reality, this looks really wide, far apart, but it's only from E flat to G flat. It's really not that bad. Okay, so that's basically what's going to happen. Your second finger is going to go pivot over the thumb over here like this. Okay. All right. Okay, so taking a look at the right hand, from the previous measure, C, F, and now we just extend from the F, the previous measure, one more note up. And I'm going to just use the same finger, fifth finger. It's going to make it a little bit easier. It's not that big of a deal over here. Okay, so from here, the F to G, we just move to a fifth finger. Now notice, here we have another tie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and X that thing out. And just to get us started with the next portion of the measure, we won't have time to complete this measure in this lesson, but let's go ahead and just kind of map out the beginning of this anyway. Because there's something really tricky that we need to watch out for between this note and this note. I'll show you what that is in just a second, okay? So here, G clef, so here we have a G flat, okay? Great big, that's a B flat over here. We're going to be using a 1 and a 2 to play that. So the right hand alone, let's just go ahead, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead, if you don't mind, and start from the beginning of that measure, okay? So F, reach up to the G flat, you're going to hold on to it into the next portion, and then simply continue on with the G flat and the B flat over here, okay? Now, what's tricky is what I kind of just drew over here in blue from here to here. When your left hand comes up, you're going to be playing a G flat, but wait a minute, the right hand has to come play the G flat as well. So what you're going to need to do is, again, rely on the pedal to hold through all these notes for you, and then quickly come off. Don't hold on to that, because your right hand needs to, okay, grab that note immediately after your left hand does, okay? So that's another reason why I kind of like this second finger. It's a little more nimble than the thumb fighting like that over the same note, okay? So let me do it one more time slowly, and again, just to quickly show you how the pedaling is going to work. We have the pedaling from the previous measure over here, pedal on this E flat over here, and then we're going to hold the pedal through, okay? Until the next portion, our next lesson, you'll see how that reconnects, okay? So one more time, from the end of the previous measure, reposition our hand, now just stretch a little higher, E flat left hand, new hand position, pivot over, get off. See how that works? Okay? So you just need to remember that this poor note needs to play a little bit of a hotcakes off the stove, okay? Okay? With the pedal holding through, it'll all sound smooth and connected, so you don't need to worry about over-holding notes with your fingers, okay? So very good. That's the end of this, and the next lesson we'll go ahead and finish the rest of the notes. I think we can be able to tackle the rest of the notes in both hands next lesson, okay? Great, so I'll see you at the next lesson.